Hey guys, thanks for stopping by for another video. So last night I just finished this Captain Carter piece, and I gotta say it was a huge learning experience, and I want to kind of dive in on it because I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Full disclaimer, I did not draw this image initially. It was basically a page of a coloring book that you could download off the internet. So it's a modified coloring book page. Kind of got the idea inspired by YouTuber Jazza, where he would kind of go in and customize the original image. So this started off as just a simple line drawing outline, basically no shading at all. And so the first thing I did was, actually I went in with some whiteout, as he did, and kind of whited out some of the things that I didn't want in there, such as I started to make a crack in Captain Carter's shield here, and I think I used it a little bit in a couple other areas of the shield too, maybe a little bit on the hand, and a little bit in the arms too, and mostly on her torso here. To create these bandages, because she had a lot of detail from her suit in there, and I wanted to kind of incorporate, like, this is kind of based off of, spoilers, the newest Doc Strange movie, when she basically gets cut in half by her own shield. But I was kind of dialing that back down quite a bit, so that I was bringing her back to life here, so hence all the blood and stuff. I dialed back the blood a lot more. I could have upped that a lot, but I wanted to keep it somewhat realistic, like she actually survived. So that was about the extent of the whiteout. I will say, if I do it again, I'll probably photocopy it so that I'm not working on such a rough texture and uneven surface, if you will. However, that being said, I was pleasantly surprised to see how well it worked. As far as putting the paint and the ink over it here in the torso area, it kind of blended an interesting texture. As well as kind of in the arm over here, kind of a nasty-ish texture. So that was kind of cool, but I would probably photocopy it so it's flat for further media. Moving right along. So yeah, after that, I took my handy-dandy Micron, and I put a lot of hatching and cross-hatching to start getting some shading in, because I struggle with as an understanding lights and darks and stuff. So there was a huge learning experience for that. You can still kind of see some of it. I don't know why it doesn't want to focus as well, but you can see a little bit of it here in the arm. I had a lot of it in the legs and stuff, but it mostly got covered up by the other media, which I'll get to here in a second. And I did kind of go back and try and bring it back at the very end. So yeah, after that I started, as you guys probably know, I work with a lot of colored pencils and oil pastels. So this time it was colored pencils again, but for the most part I was trying to stick with Prismacolors, because the whole point was to get a little bit better with Prismacolor Markers. So I started laying out some of the red. That was the first thing I did, and that took pretty good. You can still see a lot of the black hashing and stuff going on there. Let me try zooming in a little bit. That looks a lot better. Okay, so now you can see that detail a lot better. The hatching that I initially did was much better preserved under the red Prismacolor marker, so I was really happy about that. Not as well over here in the blues, but you can still kind of see it a little bit below the signature and stuff. But I was really happy with that, with the red. However, I think I went a little too heavy-handed, and I wish I would have preserved my whites a little bit better for further highlights. But still not too bad. So after that, I went in with the blues. And the blues, I was not as heavy-handed. As you can see, my favorite part is the chest area, because I preserved the highlights a lot better in through here, and on the legs as well. Not to say the shield isn't bad, but yeah, it was, and the shoulder pad looks pretty good. I'm really happy about that. And then, so that was mostly the markers and stuff, and I was using the colorless blender and stuff, so that was kind of a learning curve. It helped for me if I would put down some colorless blender first, and then very quickly use the regular colored marker after that. and then kind of just keep both caps off the tips at the same time and kind of use them simultaneously, blending them, and then also kind of scrubbing the colorless blender on the back of the sketchbook to keep it clean so it doesn't blend in with other colors that you don't want it to ruin it. So yeah, it was a learning thing. And then yeah, obviously I used a brown marker in through here and on her buckles. Went a little too heavy-handed on this strap here. I wish I would have preserved the whites better, but I like the way the glove looks. That looks a lot better. So, and I was neglecting the face for a long time, and it's not as vibrant as the rest of the body, but I was really scared that the markers were going to destroy it. So I kind of played it a little safe. However, I did use brown markers in the hair and a little bit even on the face, a little bit on the battle damage of the face. Just zoom in a little bit better. Hopefully, there we go. Now you can see it. Added the details on there because she didn't have any of this battle damage. Added all that. I did mess up. The first thing I did was mess up. This stripe around the outside of the shield should be blue. I was looking at a Captain America battle damage shield for reference, and I did an oopsie there. But honestly, I like the contrast of all the. It needed more red, I think, in the piece because I didn't want to overdo the blood any more than I already did. So I like that extra red stripe there. So once I got the markers in there, for the most part, I was starting to blend it with the colored pencils. However, I didn't really have a good blue Prismacolor marker, or pencil rather. So I used a Crayola, and my God, up until this point, I can definitely tell the difference in terms of blending with the Crayola over the Prismacolor, because it was kind of a nightmare blending with it on the pants, especially. That's where I started, and I worked my way up. You can kind of see the splashy areas where the marker is, as opposed to like right in here, and right there's a splotch there, and right in here where the marker was, and then I had to blend it with the colored pencil. But it was a lot more fluid in through here as far as the blend goes, so that was pleasing. There's a lot of win and losses in this. Not as great transitions in terms of shading in the blue on the shield, but I was able to recover some of the highlights with the white pencil Prismacolor. That was actually really handy, going in through here at the very end, and then even adding some in the hair as well. So that was kind of cool. So note to self, I don't want to use Crayola if I don't absolutely have to. I was using other Prismacolor pencils there, darker ones to go over it, and Prismacolor red on top of it, and I really liked that. It was just kind of a constant layering, so many layers of stuff on here, and even just the blacks and the grays. I just love the detail, especially in the shield I was able to achieve. So even though the hatching was kind of lost, I was able to bring a little bit of that back later on. And I'm just kind of checking my notes here because I want to make sure I hit on all the heavy marks. But yeah, I would definitely recommend a technique kind of like this, and I'm really happy with just the way the highlights and the shadows turned out. Yeah, I guess I just always had kind of reservations mixing colored pencil with marker for whatever reason, because it seems like the way I'd use them up until now is kind of a rough, less blendy way, and the markers are a lot less forgiving in terms of blending and flexibility. But with the help of the colorless blender, it does help a little bit. It's not, you can't erase very well with the markers, or at all for that matter, but I do like that. And also the colored pencil, or the whiteout, was a little bit sticky, so I kind of had to put a post-it note on that while I was working on top of it. So that was another reason why I should probably photocopy it later. But that texture does add a little bit of it, so if I ever used another media like oil pastel or even paint, that like acrylic paint or something, on a better piece of paper, that's another thing. I would definitely use better quality paper that could accept the markers and stuff better, with a higher tooth. And so, but yeah, I think you guys have heard me ramble long enough about this thing. I'll try to give a credit to the original artist or the picture for the coloring book sheet that I found this at, so proper credit is due there. As always, thanks for tuning in for this video. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.